You lose control the moment you react. You hand your power to the world, to emotions, to people who don't deserve it. Self-control isn't about being emotionless, it's about being unshakable. Every great performer, every leader, every champion learned one truth. Control yourself and you control everything. This audiobook will train your mind to respond, not react, to think, not panic, to master the art of composure under pressure. Because if you can't command your emotions, they will command your life. Most people don't live, they react. They move through life like emotional puppets, pulled by strings they don't even see. A comment triggers them, a look offends them, a delay frustrates them, and they call that living. But that's not living, that's slavery, emotional slavery. You must understand this. Every reaction is a decision you didn't make. Someone else made it for you. You yelled because they provoked you. You quit because you felt discouraged. You lost control because your ego needed attention. That's not power, that's weakness, and you're better than that. Self-control begins with awareness. It begins with the realization that between every event and every reaction, there's a space, a gap, a pause. That pause, right there, is your freedom. That's where the powerful live. That's where clarity is born. And that's what this chapter is about, mastering the pause. Pause before you respond. Always pause. That's the mantra. Say it with me, in your mind. Pause before you respond. Always pause. When someone insults you, pause. When life disappoints you, pause. When your emotions surge and you want to explode, pause. In that pause, you get your power back. In that pause, you decide who you are. Because here's the truth. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. And that's the difference between average and exceptional, between chaos and composure, between weakness and mastery. Think about the best in the world, the athletes, the leaders, the soldiers, the monks. They've trained for that pause. They've built it like a muscle. An elite fighter doesn't swing wild when provoked. He studies his opponent, waits, measures, then strikes. A great negotiator doesn't rush to speak. He listens, observes, lets silence work for him. A monk doesn't react to insult or fear. He observes it, lets it pass through him like wind through an open window. They all understand one thing. Power belongs to the calm. That's the key. Calm is not weakness. Calm is control. And control is everything. But let's get practical. How do you train this pause? How do you build it when your instincts scream at you to react? It starts with small drills, daily ones, simple but powerful. Drill 1, the breath. Before you respond to anything stressful, breathe. Deep in, slow out. You don't need a ritual or a mat. You just need a second. 3 slow breaths create distance between you and your reaction. That distance is your discipline. Drill 2, the count. Count to 3 before reacting to irritation. Your coworker annoys you? 1, 2, 3. Your child pushes your buttons? 1, 2, 3. That's not weakness. That's warfare, mental warfare. You're training your mind to obey you, not your emotions. Drill 3, the silence. When in doubt, say nothing. Silence is not empty, it's control. It's how you win arguments without words. It's how you project authority without noise. It's how you stop giving away your energy to people who feed off reaction. You see, reacting is easy. Anyone can do it. Animals do it. Children do it. The weak do it. Responding, that's different. Responding takes awareness. It takes patience. It takes strength. You have to watch the emotion rise like a wave and not surf it. You have to let it crash without moving. That's self-mastery. That's power. You have a choice. You always have a choice. No one can take that from you. Not an insult, not a betrayal, not even fear. Because the moment you choose to pause, you're no longer reacting. You're commanding. You're leading. You're dictating the direction of your life instead of being pulled by every gust of emotion. Understand this clearly. Reacting is about ego. Responding is about control. Reacting says, I have to prove something. Responding says, I already know who I am. Reacting is noise. Responding is strategy. And you don't need anyone's permission to slow down, to breathe, to think. You don't need their permission to stay calm. You don't need their permission to control your energy, because your reaction is your responsibility, always. That's the key most people never learn. They blame others for their emotions. They say, you made me angry. No, no one made you angry. You allowed anger to take control. You opened the door. You handed over the keys. You have to lock that door. Every time emotion knocks, you pause, you breathe, you decide. That's mastery. Start noticing how much of your life is just reaction. Scrolling through your phone, reaction. Arguing online, reaction. Feeling jealous, offended, triggered, reaction. You're living in response to everything external while ignoring the one thing that matters, your internal command center. That's where real strength comes from. That's where discipline lives. Because it's not about avoiding emotion, it's about managing it. It's not about being cold, it's about being composed. It's not about ignoring your feelings, it's about leading them. You can feel emotion without becoming it. You can experience anger without expressing it destructively. You can feel pain without collapsing to it. That's emotional control. And when you live from that place, people can't manipulate you anymore. They can't predict you. They can't pull you into chaos. You become unpredictable, powerful, calm. And that calmness is intimidating, because calm people control the room. They control the tone. They control outcomes. Remember this line: you don't win by reacting faster. You win by responding better. Life is full of tests disguised as triggers. Your patience will be tested. Your ego will be tested. Your control will be tested. And every time you pass one of those tests, every time you choose pause over panic, you build unshakable strength. That's how you become mentally tough. Not by yelling louder, not by fighting harder, but by standing still when others lose their balance. That's the art of not reacting. That's the foundation of self-control. That's the discipline that separates the master from the average. Pause before you respond. Always pause. That's your new rule, your new standard, your new identity. You mastered the pause. You learned that power lives in stillness. Now it's time to go deeper, because control isn't just about silence. It's about understanding your emotions. Let's explore the truth behind that control. You feel angry. You feel anxious. You feel afraid. And you think that means you have to act. You think that because you feel it, you must follow it. That's the trap. That's how emotion becomes your master. But hear this, your emotions are not commands, they're messages, they're data, they're signals. They tell you something, but they don't decide anything. You decide, always. That's the core of emotional control. You stop being dragged by your feelings and start learning from them. You stop being reactive and start being reflective. You feel anger? That means something you value is being threatened. You feel fear? That means something important might be lost. You feel envy? That means you've identified something you desire but haven't pursued. See? Each emotion is a message. It's not an order. It's information. You have a choice. You always have a choice. That's the key. You can't control what you feel, but you can always control what you do with that feeling. That's the line that separates the strong from the weak. The weak act on impulse. The strong act on instruction. They read the message, but they don't obey it. You don't need to suppress your emotions. Suppression is not control. You don't need to deny them. Denial is not strength. You need to decode them, understand them, use them. Because when you understand what your emotions are saying, you become untouchable. Anger becomes clarity. Fear becomes caution. Sadness becomes reflection. That's the transformation. Let's talk about how to do it, because emotional mastery isn't about feeling nothing. It's about feeling everything without being owned by it. Step 1. Name it. Don't say, I'm angry. Say, I feel anger. Don't say, I'm anxious. Say, I feel anxiety. Why does this matter? Because words create identity. When you say, I'm angry, you merge with the emotion. You become it. When you say, I feel anger, you separate from it. You create distance. That distance is power. That's the space where control lives. You're no longer in the emotion. You're watching it. And what you watch, you can manage. That's the key. Step 2. Observe, don't react. When the feeling rises, don't rush to fix it. Don't rush to feed it. Just observe it. Watch how it builds. Watch where it shows up in your body. Don't fight it. Study it. That's what emotional intelligence really is. Not reacting, observing. When you can sit in the fire without flinching, the fire loses its power. When you can feel discomfort without escaping, discomfort becomes your teacher. That's growth. Real-world example? Think about a soldier in combat, heart racing, adrenaline flooding. He doesn't have the luxury of panic. He feels fear, but he interprets it as focus. He uses it to sharpen, not shatter his mind. That's emotional translation. That's mastery in motion. Step 3. Reframe the signal. When you feel emotion, ask, what is this trying to teach me? What is this revealing about my values? Turn emotion into information. You feel anger? Ask what value was violated. Maybe it's respect. Maybe it's fairness. You feel fear? Ask what you're protecting. Maybe it's your comfort zone. Maybe it's your ego. You feel guilt. Ask what needs correction. Maybe it's alignment. Maybe it's truth. When you frame emotions as lessons, they stop being obstacles. They become allies. Emotions aren't there to control you. They're there to guide you. But only if you stop reacting long enough to listen. You have to quiet the noise, because emotion screams. It demands attention. It wants you to move now.
That's where the discipline comes in. You pause, you listen, you learn. That's control. Let me make this crystal clear. Emotion is natural. Reaction is optional. You can feel everything and still be calm. You can care deeply and still be disciplined. You can experience storms and still steer the ship. It's not about suppressing emotion. It's about channeling it, turning energy into action, turning chaos into clarity. The person who learns this becomes unstoppable. Because when others are triggered, you're composed. When others panic, you're precise. When others react, you respond. That's leadership. That's mastery. That's power. Think about elite athletes. In the final moments of a game, when the pressure peaks, their emotions don't vanish. They're still nervous. They still feel the fear of failure, but they've trained to use it. Their fear fuels focus. Their tension sharpens precision. That's emotional fuel, not their downfall. You must train the same way. When emotion rises, don't fight it. Don't feed it. Just frame it. Say, "This is energy. I choose where it goes." You decide whether that anger destroys or builds. You decide whether that fear stops you or prepares you. You decide whether that sadness weakens you or deepens you. You decide. Always decide. That's the mantra. Now let's get practical. Here's your emotional control exercise. 1. Daily labeling. Every time you feel something strong, pause and label it. Say it out loud. I feel anger. I feel disappointment. You separate identity from experience. 2. Emotional journaling. Write down the emotion, what triggered it, and what it might be telling you. Patterns will emerge. You'll start to see that your emotions are maps, not traps. 3. Reframe practice. Every emotion that appears, turn it into a question. What is this emotion teaching me? That question turns emotion from chaos into clarity. Do this consistently, and you'll stop being a reactor. You'll become a responder. Remember this, your emotions don't define you. Your response to them does. Anyone can feel angry. Few can stay calm. Anyone can get hurt. Few can stay centered. Anyone can feel fear. Few can move through it with control. You can be one of the few. You just have to remember, emotions are messengers. Listen to them. Learn from them. But never let them lead you. You don't need their permission to be calm. You don't need their permission to act with discipline. You don't need their permission to stay composed when everyone else collapses. That's your edge. That's your advantage. Emotional control isn't cold. It's courageous. It's not about distance. It's about direction. It's not about shutting down. It's about showing up with clarity. That's how you take your power back. You've learned to listen without obeying. You've learned to separate emotion from identity. You've learned that every feeling is a message, not a master. Now, it's time to take this control and elevate it. Because once you can understand your emotions, the next step is detachment. Not coldness, clarity. Not apathy, awareness. That's where real power begins.
You care too much about things that don't matter. That's why you lose control. You care about how they see you. You care about what they said. You care about what might happen next. And that caring, that emotional attachment, is draining your power. Let me be clear. Detachment is not coldness. It's clarity. It's not about feeling nothing. It's about seeing everything clearly. Because when you're attached, you're blind. You can't see the truth through the fog of emotion. You chase control over people, over outcomes, over opinions, and you lose control of yourself. That's the irony. The more you try to control things outside of you, the more you lose command inside of you. The more you let go, the more power you gain. That's detachment. That's mastery. Look at the most disciplined minds in history. The monks, the Stoics, the elite soldiers, the wise leaders. They all share one quality: emotional detachment. They can stand in chaos and still see clearly. They can feel pressure without breaking. They can witness loss without losing themselves. Why? Because they've trained to separate what they feel from what they do. They've trained to act from principle, not from emotion. That's what you must build: the detached mind, the steady mind, the mind that watches but does not wander. Detachment is seeing without drowning. Imagine standing on a mountain looking down at a storm. You see the rain, you see the lightning, you hear the thunder, but you're above it. You're observing it. That's how your mind must operate. You watch the emotional storm from above. You don't jump into it. That's what I call the observer mindset. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are the one observing them. When you can watch yourself getting angry, instead of just being angry, you're growing. When you can feel fear rise and still stay calm, you're maturing. When you can hear criticism and not flinch, you're powerful. You don't need their validation. You don't need their approval. You don't need their reaction to confirm your worth. That's detachment. And that's freedom. But let's destroy a myth. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you start caring correctly. You stop caring about outcomes. You start caring about effort. You stop caring about image. You start caring about integrity. You stop caring about noise. You start caring about discipline. It's not about indifference. It's about intention. It's not about not feeling. It's about not folding. You still give your best. You still love. You still strive. But you don't tie your peace to results you can't control. That's real strength. That's what separates you from the emotional majority. Let me give you something practical. 3 steps to practice detachment every single day. Step 1. Observe before reacting. When something triggers you, don't move. Don't reply. Don't defend. Don't rush to fix. Just observe. Say to yourself, interesting, this feeling wants control, but it doesn't get it. You'll feel your emotions rise, then fall. They always do. The wave passes if you don't chase it. Step 2. Focus on what you control. Your effort, your mindset, your consistency. That's all you own. Everything else, opinions, timing, outcomes, are variables you can't command. Stop trying to control them. Detach from results. Commit to process. Repetition. Detach from outcome. Commit to action. Step 3. Return to stillness. When you feel overwhelmed, stop. Find silence. 5 minutes of calm can reset an entire day of chaos. Detachment begins in silence, because in silence you remember
Nothing external has authority over your peace. You have a choice, always. You can chase control, or you can practice detachment. You can react to life, or you can respond with calm. Every moment asks the same question: will you be the observer or the reactor? The observer wins, always. The reactor burns energy trying to fix what isn't theirs to fix. The observer saves energy by mastering what matters, the self. That's the difference between exhaustion and excellence. Think of an example. A professional negotiator sits in silence while the other side speaks emotionally. He doesn't interrupt. He doesn't flinch. He listens. The more they talk, the more power he gains. Why? Because emotion spends energy. Detachment conserves it. Or consider a monk meditating as chaos unfolds around him. The noise, the distraction, the temptation, none of it moves him. He is anchored inside. That's not apathy. That's awareness. He sees, but he doesn't sink. That's where your power comes from, the space between awareness and action. The problem with attachment is it makes you reactive. Attached to opinions, you react to criticism. Attached to comfort, you react to challenge. Attached to outcomes, you react to failure. Detach, and suddenly you become stable, calm under pressure, clear under chaos. People start to notice. They wonder how you stay so composed when everything falls apart. They mistake your silence for mystery. They don't realize it's discipline. You've trained yourself to care deeply, but not cling tightly. You give your best, but you don't beg for results. You love people, but you don't lose yourself in them. You feel emotions, but you don't let them steer the wheel. That's the balance. Here's the truth. Attachment is fear in disguise. Fear of loss, fear of rejection, fear of failure. Detachment is trust. Trust in yourself. Trust in your process. Trust in what you can handle. When you're detached, nothing can break you because nothing owns you. You don't need applause. You don't need agreement. You don't need control. You just need discipline. And discipline lives in detachment. So from now on, when emotion rises, observe it. When chaos appears, step back. When people push, don't push back. Breathe. You're not running away. You're rising above. You're not avoiding life. You're leading it. Detachment doesn't make you distant. It makes you dangerous. Because a calm person is unpredictable. A focused person is unshakable. A detached person is unstoppable. That's what you're becoming. Unstoppable. You no longer serve your emotions. They serve you. You no longer chase control. You embody it. You have learned to see clearly. You have learned to stay centered. You have learned to lead yourself when others lose themselves. That's the essence of power. You have mastered detachment. You have learned to let go and gain control. You have built the clarity that creates calm. Now it's time to confront the true enemy of that calm, your ego. Because ego is the voice that makes you react. It's the attachment to being right, being seen, being superior. And until you master it, it will keep stealing your peace. So let's dismantle it.
The moment you think you're in control, your ego takes the wheel. It whispers, "You're better, you're smarter, you're right." And that's when you lose. Ego is subtle. It hides inside your confidence. It disguises itself as strength. It makes you defend your image instead of improving your reality. And when ego takes over, discipline dies. Understand this. Ego is noise. Mastery is silence. The ego reacts. The master observes. The ego needs to win. The master needs to learn. The ego protects its comfort. The master seeks the truth. You can't grow and protect your ego at the same time. You can choose power or pride, not both. Ego lives in comparison. It always needs someone beneath you to feel tall. It needs recognition to feel real. It needs validation to stay alive. That's why it hates silence, because silence exposes it. When you start detaching, when you stop reacting, the ego panics. It says, say something, prove yourself, don't let them think they're above you. Ignore that voice. It's not confidence speaking, it's insecurity screaming. Here's the truth most people never face. Your ego isn't your friend, it's your cage. It locks you inside false identities, the successful one, the strong one, the unbreakable one, and you start performing those roles instead of being real. You start defending illusions instead of facing growth. You can't transform while pretending you've already arrived. That's why humility isn't weakness, it's the weapon that kills ego. Let me show you how ego ruins emotional control. When someone criticizes you, ego reacts. It feels attacked. It wants to strike back. Control listens. It filters truth from noise. When someone succeeds before you, ego feels threatened. Control feels inspired. When life humbles you, ego resists, it hides. Control reflects, it adjusts. Every time your ego speaks, your peace weakens. Every time you silence it, your strength doubles. Ego says, I know. Discipline says, I'm learning. Ego says, I'm better. Discipline says, I'm focused. Ego says, I don't need help. Discipline says, I'll grow faster with it. One lives for approval. The other lives for improvement. Which one are you training every day? Ego doesn't want control. It wants attention. And attention is emotional fuel. It burns fast. Control is patient. It doesn't need to prove. It doesn't need applause. That's the difference between temporary confidence and permanent power. Think about the quietest people you know. They rarely speak, but when they do, everyone listens. Why? Because their words come from calm, not from ego. They don't need to shout. They don't need to compete. They don't need to prove. Their silence is not weakness, it's command. They've killed the part of themselves that needs to be seen, so they can finally see everything clearly. Here's how to break your ego before it breaks you. Step 1. Admit you don't know. Every day say it to yourself, I might be wrong. I might have more to learn. This keeps your mind open. The ego hates those words, but growth loves them. Step 2. Don't defend, understand. When criticized, don't build a wall, build awareness. Ask, what part of this can make me better? That question turns insult into insight. Step 3. Detach from recognition. Stop chasing applause. Do great work quietly. Let your consistency speak louder than your ego ever could. When you stop needing to be seen, you finally start seeing clearly. The most dangerous version of ego is the hidden one, the ego that pretends to be humble. It says, "I'm not like them, I'm different, I'm the quiet one." That's still ego. Ego can wear silence as a costume. It can hide in your humility. It can disguise itself as, "I don't care." But real humility doesn't compare. It doesn't even need a label. It just exists, calm, unbothered, unshaken. You'll know you've killed your ego when being right doesn't matter anymore, when peace feels better than proving yourself. Your ego will always fight back. It will tell you they disrespected you. They need to see your worth. No, they don't. Because your worth isn't up for debate. You don't earn it through others. You earn it through mastery of self. If they misunderstand you, fine. If they underestimate you, better. If they doubt you, perfect. Because that silence, that doubt, that distance is the space where discipline grows. Every warrior of the mind must defeat ego, not once, every day, because ego regenerates. It feeds on attention, it feeds on fear, it feeds on praise. That's why you must stay aware. You must keep your discipline sharper than your pride. When you win, stay humble. When you lose, stay learning. When you're tested, stay silent. That's real control. Remember this mantra. As the less I need to prove, the more powerful I become. Say it again. Feel it, because it's true. Ego shouts, control whispers. Ego reacts, control breathes. Ego wants to be seen, control wants to be still. And in the stillness, you find the kind of strength no one can take. Don't mistake ego for confidence. Confidence builds, ego inflates. Confidence is earned, ego demands. Confidence is quiet, ego is loud. The world rewards loudness, but life rewards calm. You will not find peace in your ego. You will only find it when you stop defending the illusion of yourself and start building the reality of discipline. In the end, control isn't about dominating others. It's about mastering the only battlefield that matters, your inner world. Ego fights for attention. Discipline fights for evolution. So next time your ego rises, pause, breathe, detach. Because in that pause, you've already won. You've proven nothing to anyone, but everything to yourself. That's the real victory. You've conquered reaction. You've mastered detachment. You've silenced the ego. Now, the next step is to turn that silence into direction, to transform stillness into strategy, because mental control without a mission becomes stagnation. Let's move forward. Let's build what comes next.
You've learned to pause. You've learned to detach. You've learned to control your reactions. Now it's time to aim that control. Because calm without direction becomes comfort, and comfort, that's how discipline dies. Listen carefully. The goal of self-control isn't just to feel peaceful. The goal is to channel peace into power. You didn't build emotional discipline to sit still. You built it to act with precision. That's the difference between people who meditate and people who execute. One escapes the noise. The other uses silence as a weapon. You need purpose, something to aim at, something bigger than your feelings. Because without purpose, control becomes apathy. You weren't born to drift. You were born to direct. Every disciplined person you admire, the athlete, the soldier, the monk, they all have one thing in common, a mission that guides their behavior. Their calm isn't random, it's functional, it's fuel. Here's the truth most people don't want to face. You can be calm, collected, and still be lost. You can have focus, but no aim. You can control your mind, but waste your life. That's why purpose matters. Purpose gives shape to your discipline. It gives direction to your energy. It gives meaning to your struggle. Without purpose, you wake up every day in control, but with nowhere to go. And that's the slow death of potential. So ask yourself right now, what am I doing all this for? Because if you can't answer that clearly, you're not disciplined, you're just busy. Purpose isn't found in comfort, it's discovered in clarity. It's built in silence. Stop waiting for it to appear. You decide it. Purpose doesn't come to you. You create it through action, reflection, and persistence. You have to choose what your life stands for, then make every thought, every reaction, every breath align with it. Here's the secret. When you attach your discipline to your purpose, every challenge becomes training. Failure becomes feedback. Pain becomes progress. Rejection becomes redirection. That's the power of purpose-driven control. Without it, life feels random. With it, everything becomes a test, and you stop failing tests when you know why you're taking them. Let's make this real. Imagine two people wake up at 5 a.m. One does it because a YouTube video told him to. The other does it because he's building something that matters. One quits when it gets hard. The other adapts when it gets hard. The difference isn't motivation, it's mission. When you have a mission, you don't need motivation. You move because standing still feels wrong. Let's be clear. Purpose doesn't mean passion. It means direction. Passion is a feeling. It fades. Purpose is a decision. It endures. You might not always feel inspired. That's fine. But if you're grounded in purpose, you'll move anyway. And that's what separates discipline from desire. Desire wants it. Discipline builds it. Here's how you find direction. Step 1. Simplify your focus. Pick one mission, not 10. You can't master your life if your attention is scattered. You need one North Star that decides your priorities. Step 2. Define your why. Why do you wake up early? Why do you train your mind? Why do you fight to stay calm? Write it down. Repeat it daily. Let it burn into your subconscious. Step 3. Build systems around it. Purpose without routine is a dream. Purpose with routine becomes destiny. That's the difference between people who wish and people who win. When you find purpose, you stop wasting energy on noise. You stop reacting to nonsense. You stop arguing with people who aren't moving anywhere, because now you understand. Your time is fuel, and every distraction burns it. When your purpose becomes your filter, decisions get simple. Does it help the mission? Do it. Does it drain it? Cut it. That's focus. That's control in action. Don't make purpose about fame, money, or status. Those are side effects, not missions. Make your purpose about becoming more capable, about learning, building, serving, mastering. Because those are the purposes that don't die when the world shifts. They grow stronger under pressure. Purpose built on ego collapses when ignored. Purpose built on growth gets stronger with silence. The discipline of purpose is this. Do the hard thing even when no one is watching, because you know why it matters. That's how calm becomes power. That's how focus becomes dominance. You don't react to the world, you direct it. You don't chase meaning, you create it. You stop waiting for clarity and start moving with conviction.
Every small act, every quiet decision, every consistent day, that's how purpose grows into power. When you know your purpose, your emotions serve you. They stop being masters and become messengers. Fear tells you what's important. Anger tells you what to protect. Doubt tells you where to grow. You start translating emotion into energy instead of letting it control you. That's real power. That's emotional alchemy. So here's your challenge. For the next 30 days, move with intentional purpose. Wake up with a clear direction. Remind yourself of your mission before touching your phone. Ask every night, did I live aligned with my purpose today? Do this daily. Do it deliberately. You'll stop living by accident and start living by design. Let this sink in. Calm without direction is comfort. Calm with direction is power. Purpose is not the opposite of peace. Purpose is the structure that peace lives in. And once your peace has purpose, you become unstoppable. You've learned to stay calm under pressure. You've learned to move with intent. Now it's time to go deeper, to understand the hidden force that multiplies all of this. It's the one thing that separates ordinary focus from extraordinary execution. That force is consistency, because purpose means nothing if you don't live it daily. You have purpose. You have calm. You have control. But here's the truth most people never admit. All of that means nothing without consistency. Consistency is the bridge between potential and power. It's the engine that turns discipline into results. It's the quiet force that separates the average from the extraordinary. Because talent doesn't win. Motivation doesn't win. Consistency wins. Think about it. The athlete who trains daily, rain or shine, pain or exhaustion, dominates competitions. The writer who shows up every morning, no matter the distractions, publishes masterpieces. The entrepreneur who executes consistently, day after day, builds empires. What do they all have in common? They don't rely on luck. They don't rely on bursts of energy. They rely on relentless repetition. That's consistency. That's discipline over everything. Let's make it clear. Consistency isn't glamorous. It isn't exciting. It isn't a viral moment. Consistency is boring. Consistency is daily grind. Consistency is showing up when no one is watching, doing the work no one sees, and doing it again tomorrow. And again, and again. You want results? Consistency is non-negotiable. No exceptions, no excuses, no ego. Here's the harsh truth most people don't face. You don't fail because you lack talent. You don't fail because you're unlucky. You fail because you quit too soon. You start strong. You hit momentum. Then life happens. Discomfort hits. Motivation fades. And you stop. And that's the end. Relentless consistency fixes that. It doesn't rely on feelings. It doesn't wait for inspiration. It simply demands action every single day. Consistency is not about perfection. It's about repetition. You will have bad days. You will fail. You will stumble. That's fine. What matters is that you show up the next day. Consistency is like compounding interest for your mind. Every small action adds up. Every repeated discipline grows invisible strength. Every day you stay committed, you multiply results exponentially. Let me give you an example. Two people start running. One runs hard for 1 week, then stops. The other runs consistently, 5 minutes a day,
every day. The first person burns out. The second builds endurance. The second transforms. The difference isn't speed, it's relentless repetition. The same applies to every skill, every habit, every discipline in life. Small actions, repeated daily, create massive power. Here's the key mantra. Show up, do the work, repeat. Say it again. Feel it, because this simple rule will create unstoppable momentum. Consistency doesn't negotiate. It doesn't care about excuses. It doesn't wait for readiness. It only knows action. Now, how do you cultivate relentless consistency? Step 1. Remove friction. Make the work unavoidable. Lay out your gym clothes. Set your schedule in stone. Eliminate excuses before they appear. Every barrier you remove increases the likelihood you'll show up. Step 2. Use systems, not motivation. Motivation is temporary, systems are permanent. Don't rely on inspiration to get disciplined. Create routines that run automatically, habits that execute even when your mind resists. Step 3. Track everything. Record your progress. Check your consistency daily. You can't improve what you don't measure. Step 4. Repeat regardless of mood. Some days you will feel amazing. Some days you will feel tired, distracted, angry, or defeated. Do the work anyway. That's what separates the exceptional from the ordinary. Consistency is a mindset. It's a refusal to let your feelings dictate your actions. It's a daily statement to yourself. I control my habits. My habits don't control me. And here's the paradox. The more consistent you become, the easier it gets. The rhythm builds. Momentum compounds. Action becomes automatic. You don't struggle anymore. You execute. You don't question anymore. You deliver. You don't chase results. You build them silently, day after day. Consistency also protects your calm and your purpose. Why? Because discipline without execution is frustration. Purpose without repetition is wasted potential. Control without action is stagnation. Consistency turns control into progress, detachment into strategy, purpose into reality. Everything you've built in the previous chapters, pause, emotional mastery, detachment, purpose, now thrives through consistency. Here's the reality check. Every day you skip your discipline, you regress. Every day you neglect your purpose, you weaken. Every day you choose comfort over repetition, you lose ground. You have a choice. You always have a choice. You can give up, or you can show up again tomorrow. You can complain, or you can commit. The choice is yours, every day, every moment, every decision. Consistency also teaches patience. It teaches endurance. It teaches respect for the process. Most people want instant results. They quit when they don't see immediate rewards. They blame the world. They blame themselves. Not you. You know the secret. Results follow discipline, not desire. Consistency compounds in silence. You don't see it at first. You only see it when you show up long enough. Let me repeat that. Consistency compounds in silence. You don't see it at first. You only see it when you show up long enough. That's the key. That's the hidden power most people never master. Now let's give this practical form. Pick 1 to 3 key disciplines, not 10, not 20, just the critical few that drive your purpose. Show up daily, rain or shine, tired or energized, ready or not. Track, adjust, repeat. Small improvements every day compound into unstoppable momentum. Do this relentlessly. You will become unshakable. You will become unstoppable. You will become disciplined beyond measure. Here's your challenge now. For the next 30 days, execute one critical discipline without fail. No excuses, no explanations, no skips. Do this consistently, every day, and watch calm, purpose, and control turn into power that no one can touch. Remember, talent can fail, motivation can fade, but consistency always wins. It's the force multiplier of everything you've learned, the weapon that turns theory into reality, the bridge between calm and conquest. You've mastered your reactions. You've controlled your emotions. You've detached from ego. You've aligned with purpose. Now show up, every day, without exception. Because that is how ordinary men become extraordinary. That is how discipline becomes dominance. That is how calm becomes unstoppable power.
You think strength is physical. You think power comes from action. You think success is about speed or talent. Wrong. Real strength begins in the mind. Unbreakable power is mental. And the people who dominate life are the ones who never lose control internally, no matter what happens externally. This is mental toughness. Not flash, not hype, not bravado. Silent, relentless, invisible. And the world underestimates it at its own peril. Here's the first truth. Life will test you, always. Obstacles will appear. People will betray you. Failure will strike. Pain will come. Discomfort will hit relentlessly. And your mind will ask, can I handle this? Can you stand when the world pushes? Can you persist when no one applauds? That's the battlefield of mental toughness. It's not physical. It's not external. It's internal resilience under fire. Most people fail because they believe mental toughness is about eliminating fear. It's not. It's about moving through fear without collapse. It's about feeling the doubt, the anxiety, the pressure, and acting anyway. It's about saying, I'm uncomfortable, I'm tested, I feel fear, I move forward anyway. That's courage. That's discipline. That's mental toughness. Let's break it down. Point 1. Embrace discomfort. Comfort kills potential. Every time you take the easy path, your strength atrophies. Challenge is the forge of mental resilience. Cold showers, early mornings, tough workouts, hard conversations, these aren't torture. These are training. They are rehearsal for life's inevitable storms. You don't avoid discomfort. You seek it strategically. You use it to build an unshakable mind. Point 2. Control your narrative. Life will insult you. Life will push you down. Life will try to define you. Your ego wants to fight it. Your ego wants revenge. Your ego wants validation. Mental toughness ignores ego.
It observes the insult. It reframes the narrative. Instead of, "They disrespected me," you think, "They revealed what I need to master in myself." Instead of, "I failed," you say, "I learned, I adapt, I improve." Repetition. You have a choice. Always. Every thought can be your ally or your enemy. Control it. Command it. Make it serve you. Point 3. Build absolute focus. Distraction is the enemy of resilience. Dispersed energy becomes weakness. Unfocused effort leads to burnout, frustration, and defeat. Mental toughness means ignoring the irrelevant. It means laser focus on what matters. Every day eliminate distractions. Every day simplify your priorities. Every day ask, does this action move me closer to mastery? If yes, execute. If no, cut it ruthlessly. Focus is quiet power. Discipline in thought creates dominance in action. Here's a practical exercise to strengthen your mind. Step 1. Daily reflection under pressure. Each day, put yourself in a controlled challenge. Write down your discomforts, your fears, your frustrations. Acknowledge them without emotion. Observe them. Learn from them. Step 2. Controlled exposure. Seek small challenges intentionally. Push your limits in low-risk situations. Run longer than yesterday. Confront a fear you've avoided. Speak up when it's uncomfortable. Each small conquest trains your mind to endure bigger storms. Step 3. Mental repetition. Repeat mantras like, I persist, I adapt, I control. Say them in silence during hard moments. Your mind begins to internalize resilience. Mental toughness is built, not born. It's forged in repetition. It's strengthened in adversity. It's proven when no one is watching. Real-world example. Consider an elite athlete in the final moments of a championship. Heart racing, pressure crushing, opponents taunting. Fear is present. Anxiety is alive. But the mentally tough athlete pauses internally. They detach from the noise. They focus solely on the play, the movement, the execution. No panic, no distraction, no wasted energy. Only action, only focus, only calm power. That's mental toughness in action. Here's the T mantra for mental toughness. I feel it. I face it. I move forward anyway. Repeat it. Internalize it. Because the more you act despite fear, doubt, or discomfort, the stronger your mind becomes. Mental toughness doesn't make life easier. It makes you stronger than life. It doesn't remove storms. It makes you unshakable in them. Another essential truth. Mental toughness requires patience with progress. You won't see results overnight. You won't feel invincible in a week. You won't master fear in a month. It's the compound effect of small, deliberate actions. Train your mind daily. Show up to discomfort daily. Reframe and refocus daily. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Over months, years, decades, your mind becomes a fortress no chaos can penetrate. Let's emphasize one more critical point. Silence and solitude amplify mental strength. Most people fill their minds with noise. They scroll, chat, distract, complain. The mentally tough seek silence. They observe. They reflect. They sharpen. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is strategy. Silence is preparation. It's the ground where unbreakable minds are built. Repetition. You have a choice. Always. You can surrender to fear, doubt, and chaos, or you can observe, adapt, persist, execute. The choice is yours, every day, every moment, every thought. Your mental fortress grows not in comfort, but under pressure. Your control expands not through ease, but through persistence. Your unbreakable mind emerges not from avoidance, but confrontation. Your action steps for this chapter? Embrace daily discomfort. Seek small, deliberate challenges. Control your narrative. Observe emotion. Reframe experience. Build absolute focus. Remove distractions. Execute ruthlessly. Internalize mantras. Repeat mentally during tough moments. Practice silence. Reflect daily. Sharpen your mind away from noise. Do this. Repeat this. Master this. And you'll notice something profound. People around you react. You respond. You bend circumstances to your will, silently, consistently, relentlessly. Your mind becomes unshakable. Your decisions become clear. Your energy becomes unstoppable. Because mental toughness is not about appearing strong. It's about being in control when everything is trying to break you. You've learned pause. You've learned detachment. You've learned purpose. You've learned consistency. Now combine it with mental toughness, and nothing can stop you. Next step, you will learn how quiet discipline compounds all these skills into unstoppable daily habits.
You've mastered pause. You've mastered detachment. You've mastered purpose. You've mastered consistency. You've mastered mental toughness. But there's one more weapon you must wield: quiet discipline. It's not flashy. It's not loud. It doesn't beg for attention. It doesn't crave applause. And that's exactly why it works. Quiet discipline is the invisible engine behind every success story. It's the daily small actions nobody sees. It's the repetition nobody talks about. It's the grind nobody applauds. And it compounds relentlessly, silently, until the results are undeniable. Let me be clear. You don't need grand gestures. You don't need dramatic displays. You don't need permission from anyone. You need habitual, deliberate action, executed consistently. You brush your teeth every morning without question. You drive to work without debate. You put on your clothes without permission. Quiet discipline is the same principle applied to every part of your life that matters. You don't wait for motivation. You don't wait for inspiration. You simply do. Here's the first truth. Small actions are deceptive. They feel insignificant. They feel unimportant. They feel like nothing. That's the illusion. Small actions, repeated daily, are the foundation of massive results. Read 1 page a day? That's nothing. Write 1 paragraph a day? That's nothing. Work 1 hour on your craft every day? That's nothing. But done consistently over months and years, it becomes unstoppable power.
It becomes transformation. It becomes a life others envy. Quiet discipline is also relentless focus on the process, not the outcome. Most people chase results. They fixate on recognition, praise, applause. And when results are slow, they quit. You don't. You focus on the system. You focus on the habits. You focus on doing the work. Repetition, it's not about results. It's about discipline. It's about showing up. It's about execution. And the results will arrive, quietly, inevitably, undeniably. Here's how quiet discipline compounds. Imagine planting a seed. You water it every day. You don't scream at it. You don't demand it grow overnight. You don't quit when it doesn't sprout immediately. You water, you nurture, you repeat. After weeks, months, seasons, the seed sprouts, it grows, it becomes a tree. That's your life. That's quiet discipline. Small, consistent action compounding into massive results. Let's make it practical. Step 1. Identify your keystone habits. These are the few actions that had the biggest impact on your life. Meditation, exercise, writing, learning, planning. Pick the 1 to 3 that matter most. Focus your discipline here. Step 2. Execute daily without exception. No excuses, no negotiation. Even 5 minutes counts. Consistency over intensity. Repetition over flash. Step 3. Remove temptation for shortcuts. Discipline fails when you look for easy wins. Cut distractions. Simplify your environment. Force yourself into execution. Step 4. Track and reflect. Quiet discipline thrives on feedback. Journal your progress. Measure your habits. Adjust where necessary, but never skip showing up. Here's a key mindset shift. You don't need anyone to notice. You don't need anyone to validate. You don't need anyone to approve. You act because you owe it to yourself. That's the essence of quiet discipline, the self-mastery that no one else sees, the work done in silence that creates unstoppable results. Real-world example. Think of an Olympic athlete. Years of training nobody sees. Daily repetition, months of practice, hundreds of hours of invisible effort. Or a writer who finishes a novel 1 paragraph at a time. Or an entrepreneur building a business from a single, consistent action every day. The public sees the victory. They see the medal. They see the bestseller. But they never see the quiet discipline that built it. Here's the mantra for quiet discipline. I show up, I do the work, I repeat. No excuses, no one needs to know. Results will come. Repeat it, internalize it, live it. This is how you multiply all the skills you've learned. Calm under pressure becomes unstoppable execution. Detachment becomes precise action. Purpose becomes unstoppable momentum. Consistency compounds into mastery. Mental toughness ensures you never quit. And quiet discipline binds it all together. Now here's the challenge that separates winners from the rest. Do one thing every day that aligns with your highest purpose. No matter how small, no matter how boring, no matter who notices. Do it relentlessly. Do it silently. Do it without reward. Because massive results are the side effect of disciplined action, not the goal. Remember, small actions repeated daily compound into extraordinary results. Quiet discipline turns potential into performance. Consistency without attention to detail fails. Attention without consistency fails. Quiet discipline fuses them both into unstoppable force. You have learned to pause. You have learned to detach. You have learned to focus and persist. You have learned to control and execute. Quiet discipline is the glue. It is the engine. It is the secret weapon nobody talks about. You don't need anyone to notice. You don't need anyone to cheer. You don't need anyone's permission. You act. You repeat. You grow. And eventually, the results speak for themselves. Your next step, you've mastered actions. You've mastered habits. You've mastered calm and purpose. Now you will learn how to shield your mind from distraction, defeat, and chaos, the final layer of unbreakable control.
You've mastered pause. You've mastered detachment. You've mastered purpose. You've mastered consistency. You've mastered mental toughness. You've mastered quiet discipline. But there's one final weapon that separates the ordinary from the unstoppable: the fortress mind. This is the mindset that shields you from distraction, chaos, and mental attacks. It's the mental architecture that protects your energy, your focus, your results. Without it, everything you've built is vulnerable. Let's be clear. Life will try to break your focus. It will bombard you with noise, opinion, drama, and temptation. It will test your patience, your discipline, and your calm. Your job: build walls around your mind that let only what matters in and push everything else out. That's the fortress mind, and it starts with awareness. Awareness means noticing when your attention drifts, when you get angry over nothing, when your ego demands to be fed, when distractions tempt you away from your purpose. The first step to building a fortress mind: observe, don't react. Every time you catch yourself slipping, pause. Ask, does this serve my mission? If yes, focus. If no, discard. Repetition. You have a choice, always. Every thought, every emotion, every stimulus. You control what enters your inner world. Next, boundaries are essential. The fortress mind is not passive. It doesn't just filter, it actively blocks what's harmful. Cut toxic relationships. Limit time-wasting habits. Control your environment. Protect your attention like a rare jewel. Discipline isn't just doing the right thing. It's refusing the wrong thing relentlessly. The third pillar: routine fortification. Your mind is strongest when your environment, schedule, and habits reinforce focus. Start your day with rituals that prime clarity. Meditation or reflection. Planning your priorities. Executing your keystone tasks without distraction. When your mind knows what's important, it ignores the rest automatically. You don't debate with noise. You don't negotiate with chaos. You execute. Here's a crucial mindset shift. Distraction is your enemy, not the world. People complain, the world is too noisy, life is too chaotic. Wrong. The world has always been this way. It's your mind that can be clean or cluttered. It's your fortress that can stand or crumble. You are not a victim. You are the architect. Practical exercises to strengthen your fortress mind. Step 1. Digital discipline. Limit social media. Control notifications. Check email and messages intentionally, not reactively. Every uncontrolled ping chips away at focus. Step 2. Mental decluttering. Every night, list your distractions, doubts, and worries. Resolve what you can,
discard the rest. End your day with a clean mental slate. Step 3. Protective environments. Create spaces, physical or temporal, where focus is mandatory. No interruptions, no distractions, no compromise. This trains your mind to enter deep work naturally. Step 4. Daily mental drills. Practice focus exercises. Single tasking for extended periods. Meditative observation of thoughts. Visualization of your purpose and mission. These exercises build resilience against chaos, noise, and mental attacks. Repetition. You have a choice, always. You can surrender to distraction, or you can guard your mind like a fortress. Your mind is the battlefield of your life. Discipline builds walls. Purpose sets the gates. Consistency reinforces the ramparts. Mental toughness defends them. Quiet discipline maintains them silently. And now, the fortress protects all of it. Let's examine real-world examples. Top performers, CEOs, elite athletes, monks, all maintain fortress minds. They guard their attention. They protect their energy. They eliminate mental noise. They don't check Instagram 5 times a day. They don't let drama invade their thinking. They don't debate inconsequential opinions. Instead, they execute. They reflect. They plan. They conquer. Here's the key mantra for the fortress mind. I choose what enters my mind. I protect my focus. I execute without compromise. Repeat it. Internalize it. Live it. When you do, you'll notice a profound shift. You respond rather than react. You act with clarity rather than chaos. You build rather than get distracted. Your mind becomes unshakable. Your decisions become precise. Your results compound daily. Now, some truths most people ignore. Your attention is limited. Treat it as your most valuable asset. Your energy is limited. Guard it fiercely. Your mind is under siege daily. Build defenses relentlessly. A fortress mind doesn't isolate you. It doesn't make life boring. It gives you the freedom to focus on what truly matters. Everything else becomes irrelevant. Repetition is crucial. You have a choice, always. You choose what thoughts to entertain. You choose what actions to take. You choose what to protect and what to discard. The stronger your mind, the stronger your life. The quieter your discipline, the louder your results. The calmer your focus, the sharper your execution. Practical daily routine to maintain a fortress mind. Morning clarity ritual. Meditate, plan, visualize. Deep work periods. Uninterrupted execution of priorities. Reflection sessions. Assess distractions. Adjust systems. Reinforce purpose. Evening mental reset. Gratitude. Declutter thoughts. Prepare for the next day. This routine builds walls, gates, and ramparts for your mental fortress. Final truth. The fortress mind doesn't guarantee life without challenges. It guarantees that you remain unshaken by them. Chaos will come. Distractions will come. Pressure will come. People will try to derail you. But the fortress stands. Your mind remains yours. Your purpose remains intact. Your focus becomes unstoppable. Next step. You've mastered silence, purpose, discipline, consistency, mental toughness, and focus. Now, you will bring all these elements together to become unbreakable, unstoppable in life, unstoppable in mind.
You've learned to pause. You've learned to detach. You've learned purpose. You've learned consistency. You've learned mental toughness. You've learned quiet discipline. You've built a fortress mind. Now it's time to integrate it all. Not just in theory, not just when convenient,
but every single day, in every decision, in every action. This is the final step. This is how ordinary people become unstoppable. This is how calm, control, and focus turn into results, influence, and mastery. Let's break it down. Integration is deliberate. You don't randomly apply skills, you combine them strategically. Purpose guides your action. Consistency builds momentum. Mental toughness navigates adversity. Quiet discipline maintains execution. Your fortress mind protects focus. Together, these form an unbreakable system, a self that doesn't bend to chaos, distraction, or opinion, a self that executes, persists, and conquers. Step 1. Daily rituals as the backbone. Every day, follow structured routines that enforce mastery. Morning, meditation, visualization, priority planning. Midday, execute keystone tasks with focus, eliminate distractions. Evening, reflection, journaling, reset for the next day. Repetition. Daily rituals are the foundation of an unstoppable self. Miss them once, it's okay. Miss them often, and you compromise everything. Step 2. Micro decisions as macro results. Your daily choices compound. Every meal, every conversation, every email, every workout, every word you say or think matters. Quiet discipline ensures these choices always align with your purpose. Consistency ensures they compound into results over time. Remember, small actions, repeated, are the difference between average and unstoppable. Step 3. Mental resilience in action. Obstacles are inevitable. Setbacks will occur. People will try to distract, derail, or discourage you. This is where mental toughness meets purpose and consistency. Observe setbacks without panic. Respond strategically, not reactively. Stay aligned with your mission. Repetition. You have a choice, always. Every failure is a lesson. Every challenge is an opportunity to strengthen your mind. Every day you persist, you grow unstoppable. Step 4. Protecting energy through the fortress mind. Your time, attention, and mental energy are finite. Guard them ruthlessly. Protect focus like a fortress. Limit distractions. Eliminate negativity. Create sacred periods for deep work. Repetition. The world will always try to steal your focus. The fortress mind ensures it doesn't. Step 5. Applying purpose relentlessly. Purpose isn't just a thought, it's an action. Every choice must reflect your purpose. Every habit, every relationship, every goal, every decision is a tool. Use them deliberately. The unstoppable self doesn't drift. It doesn't wait for life to happen. It shapes life according to its mission. Now here's the final truth. Integration isn't one time. It's lifelong. Every day you reinforce habits. Every day you strengthen mental resilience. Every day you protect focus. Every day you execute with purpose. Repetition. Consistency compounds. Quiet discipline multiplies. Mental toughness shields. The fortress mind secures. Integration makes you unstoppable. Practical exercise. Morning, visualize your purpose. Plan key tasks. Review rituals. Daytime, execute keystone actions with focus. Apply discipline silently. Evening, reflect, journal, reset. Weekly, review progress, adjust systems, reinforce alignment. Monthly, evaluate mission, refine habits, sharpen mental tools. Do this relentlessly. Do this deliberately. Do this until mastery becomes second nature. Now let's make it personal. Ask yourself every day, did I act with purpose? Did I execute consistently? Did I protect my mind? Did I strengthen my mental toughness? Did I practice quiet discipline? Answer honestly. Adjust ruthlessly. Persist relentlessly. The unstoppable self emerges not from talent, luck, or opportunity. It emerges from daily, deliberate, disciplined integration of everything you've learned. Repetition. You have a choice. Always. You have control. You have discipline. You have focus. You have power. Now integrate it. Now execute it. Now become unstoppable. No excuses. No delays. No shortcuts. No one else can do this for you. It's your life. It's your responsibility. It's your power. You've learned to pause. You've learned to detach. You've learned purpose. You've learned consistency. You've learned mental toughness. You've learned quiet discipline. You've built a fortress mind. And now you know how to integrate it all into daily life. Here's the truth. Mastery doesn't come from desire. It comes from action, repetition, and relentless execution. It comes from choosing daily to be better, stronger, sharper, calmer, and unstoppable. You have a choice, always. The life you want isn't handed to you. It's built by you, brick by brick, day by day, decision by decision. So here's your challenge. Start now. No excuses, no waiting, no hesitation. Protect your mind. Strengthen your discipline. Execute with purpose. Make every action count. Become the unstoppable self you were born to be. The world won't wait. Neither should you.
Every reaction you control is proof that you are mastering yourself. Every moment you pause is a victory. The world wants you impulsive, emotional, predictable. But you are no longer any of those things. You've trained your mind to observe, not absorb, to command emotion, not collapse to it. This is your new standard. When they provoke you, stay calm. When they doubt you, stay focused. When life tests you, stay still. Because silence is power. Composure is dominance, and control, real control, is the foundation of greatness. Now go prove it, starting today, starting now.